Okay, pro wrestling fans, we're going to take on the controversy of the day. I'm not going to glorify this individual by using her name, but here we go. Quote. This is a quote from a newly acquired writer for the WWE writing team who's since been fired, but there's a lot of lessons to be learned. Quote from her, quote, I have just been hired by WWE. They did not require me to know anything about wrestling. I am on the Raw team. So there's Raw and SmackDown. And the people I know that are on it are Bobby. His name is either Bobby Ashley or Bobby Lashley. And I really should know that. He's like this giant black guy. And he and the people who are part of his crew, I know that they call, or at least as of last year, they call themselves the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business. They wear suits and they're like, we're cool, end quote. So she was doing a podcast as a guest, I'm assuming. And so some people, Big Ray Hernandez, among others, kind of led the charge. Shout out to Big Ray and his losing weight and so forth as part of the main media group discussion group. But for this young lady, who's not that young. I mean, she's a 30-something, and she's experienced in film, and apparently she's done things of record, as we all have. I don't know if she's ever stolen a scene in a major motion picture from Meryl Streep and Elizabeth Shue like I have, or had a fight scene with Wesley Snipes and Mario Van Peebles like I have. But apparently she's got some type of credentials that the WWE thought this was a good hire, and she went on this show, and she said these horrible, god-awful, shameful things, and apparently not. So what I'd like to ask the internet wrestling community, all the angry smart marks who are so upset, did you watch SmackDown last night? Knowing this story, knowing the disrespect that this individual paid to professional wrestling fans, knowing that the WWE hired this individual, did you still watch SmackDown? If so, you're part of the problem. If so, you have no apparent self-respect, unless perhaps you were in an infirmary, in a hospital, fighting for your life, and that was the only channel that the TV was plugged into, and you couldn't change the channel, and you were on death's door. Then perhaps I give you a mulligan, but I don't know. I mean, at some point, it's not the WWE, it's you. At some point, if you don't have the self-respect or the temerity or the personal integrity to turn off the television and to do something else with your evening on a Friday night, and, granted, we're still overcoming these horrible situations in our world, but things are loosening up a bit. You could go to a park. You could go serve soup at a homeless shelter. I mean, think about if you took all your WWE watching hours and dedicated it to helping other people, how much better the world would be. Instead of watching this god-awful programming that insults your intelligence week in and week out, and then going on Twitter, going on Facebook, and complaining about it week in and week out. Who's the idiot here? Who's the person that doesn't know things? It's you. You're the idiot. You're what I like to call the McMark. You're like what I like to call Vince McMahon's wet dream of a fan. The fan that knows how god-awful and insulting the product is, yet continues to watch. That's you. That's not me. Okay? I do other things. I watch one pay-per-view a month. That's my prescription, my R/X for myself. And you're welcome to share in my prescription. You're welcome to share in my prescription and watch one pay-per-view or network special or whatever you want to call it a month of the current modern-day product and see how Seth Rollins is doing with his wrestling matches, or see how they're misusing Drew McIntyre and so forth. The funny thing is, this woman who's bathing in ignorance, she actually mentions the Hurt Business, which was, like a lot of people, one of their favorite things from last year, from, I guess, 2020 But, a lot of people enjoyed the Hurt Business, and they broke them up. So even she, she's like, oh, this giant black guy. Now, I do want to address another aspect of this in a serious way. on Twitter, an individual, a Twitter buddy of mine, apparently, although he hasn't responded to my response, but he was saying, he was basically quoting this story and saying, we've known that WWE writing teams have been horrible for years now. How come when a young black woman speaks up about it, there's such a big fury against her? And I say, I get it, and look, there might be shades of the truth in there. Is she offensive to I don't know if it's a predominantly white audience anymore, to be honest with you. I don't know if WWE, I think WWE crosses all color lines, to be honest, and as far as their fan base, and pro wrestling in general, since I've been a fan, has always crossed color lines as far as fans, so I don't necessarily know if there is much merit to his point. I mean, I think what she said was pretty fucking stupid, and she's actually being treated equally. She's actually being treated like anybody else that would say such god-awful, offensive things. She's disrespecting Bobby Lashley by calling him Ashley. He'll never live that down. You know you're going to see signs and memes, Bobby Ashley. I mean, it sounds like a pop star in the 80s. Hey, Bobby Ashley's got a great new dance hit on Casey Kasem's Top 40. So to just imply that the fans are all these white mob of bigots, I think is unfair. And I think that let her be judged on her own stupidity. Okay? African-American female, white male, whatever. She said some stupid things. She admitted ignorance, but in a way we should thank her. I mean, at least you, Mark, should thank her because she exposed the company for what they think of pro wrestling, what they think of the integrity. Bobby Lashley is the current Bruno Belt champion, okay? I call it the Bruno Belt to decipher this madness that the WWE has had 3 different world titles in the last however many years, 15 or 20 years. The World Heavyweight title, the Universal title, which both of them mean little to me, and the Bruno Belt, what I call it, okay? So Bobby Lashley with an L, young lady, is the current Bruno Belt lineage champion. So to disrespect his name is to disrespect the name of Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. It's to disrespect the name of Bob Backlund. It's to disrespect the name of Bruno Sammartino, Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, The Rock, Kofi Kingston, and so many others. It's a disrespectful thing to do. AJ Styles, disrespecting him. What if she called him CJ Styles or something like that? Or CJ Perenza? What if she just totally... I mean, it's just so absurd. And it's so absurd to me that some wrestling or WWE, I should just call it make product fans, because you're not really pro wrestling fans. Because pro wrestling started to die on Black Saturday, 1984, okay? And we've seen gasp of air from real wrestling at times. All right? So I'm just a little upset. And I've been leading Raw Protest, hashtag Raw Protest, for years. And some of you fucks just don't get it. You think it's a goddamn joke. Well, you're the goddamn joke. You're the ones that are wasting your time on this fucking McProduct, wasting your goddamn lives, and I'm not. So all the WWE defenders, all the WWE loyalists, all the Mick-idiots, you're idiots. You're Mick-idiots. Okay? You're fucking idiots. You're watching this goddamn program that insults you, that does all their fucking backdoor deals with all these goddamn piece of shit companies and countries and fucking politicians, and you just watch and you gobble it up like goobers in a movie theater, don't you? I mean, what the fuck? You're idiots. Meanwhile, I'll be going to AEW tonight. Is it a perfect promotion? No. Is it owned by a billionaire's son, another silver spoon fuck in the wrestling business? Yes. But at least it's a shade of integrity. At least it's a shade of dignity. At least I'm not embarrassed to be there, okay? And a lot of you fans that make marks, I don't see you buying tickets to these WWE shows, these live events coming up. Nobody's exactly breaking down the turnstile to get those tickets. So you tell me, McMarks, you tell me, McIdiots. Anyway, I do want to dedicate this video. I was trying to do a nice Don Morocco, greatest Intercontinental Champion video to my buddy Benny Scala. But Benny, you're going to have to accept this as your birthday rant instead. It's a little evil, a little angry, a little anger-tempered, but I think you'd appreciate it. Benny Scala's birthday. I mean, can you imagine a man working hard his whole life just to see the WWE turn into a bowl of crap? How it hurts the long-term wrestling fans, the Benny Scalas, the Evan Ginsbergs of the world, how it hurts them emotionally. These gentlemen, Nikita Breznikov, who they would take their money, their allotment, their allowance, and they would work at the gas station all week, and then they would go to the wrestling show at Nassau Coliseum or the Sunnyside Gardens or the Madison Square Garden to see Bruno and Pedro and Chief Jay Strongbow. And now they see this company turn into a bowl of piss-infested oatmeal shit. So happy birthday, Benny.